that aside. And you have these two O-rings here, which you also want to replace. Once those are out, we can start disassembling the turbo. We'll start with the compressor side. So you gotta get 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are 5/16 or 8mm bolts. You can kind of tell the wheel is a little chewed up. You see it? The blade. Alright, so now that the pedestal's out, we gotta get the compressor bolts out. These are just a 5/16. Socket, or I think a 8mm. Shouldn't be too tight. Alright, now just use this. Speed things up a bit. Let's see, where's my extension? One, two. Make sure you replace the hardware too. It's always a good practice. Oh, we're gonna need like a mallet. Let me get a mallet. There it is. Flip it back up. There is a O-ring in here, and I think some sealant. Would you look at that? Ooh, okay. So now, all right, next step is removing this compressor wheel. So you gotta bolt this bolt, nut, whatever it is, on the turbine side, and then it shouldn't be too tight. So you just break it loose, and while you're holding the exhaust turbine side, you go ahead. And there it is. So now that you have that out, we are able to access these 4 bolts. Let's clean this up. Let it get a brake clean. Okay. All right, so now you have access to these 4 bolts. Get your 5/16, and you don't want to hold it. Okay. Okay. Let them loose. Let's see, swap over to the Milwaukee. These are all the same, so don't end up. Okay, so this piece should get my mallet. Okay, so let's see. All right, cool. So this slides up, and you have your bearing here. Okay, next step is removing these 4 bolts from this housing here. And let me tell you, you're gonna wanna use a lot of Croil. You could either use Croil with some heat. Heat's your best friend. You could try the crayon method. You could heat up the bolt and then kind of like put some crayon in there. We tried that. Okay, so once you break them loose, obviously these are already loose. So you take these out. No, it's not going to be that easy. Good luck. So, actually, before pulling this out, you can go ahead and take out this. So this is your 75 or whatever degree bearing. Set that aside. This is your bearing here. You can put that aside and you can pull this out. This comes out. Your heat shield. Look at all that gunk. Ooh, it's not good. So make sure you clean all that out. And then you're able to pull out we have this piece. Let's just leave it on there. Then you have your little bearing, your little clip here. So let's just put it back how it came out. Like that. Cool. And then, I didn't realize it, but I already had an upgraded turbine, a compressor turbine. But you could tell it's a little chewed up. Still gonna upgrade though. I don't think we had the whole balance assembly. But if we did, oh well. Getting a new one with a better compressor turbine. And now we're just gonna clean this up and we'll be back after. All right, now that we have all the pieces here, you open up your seal kit, and it has the seal right here. So what you want to do is grab a pick, and of course replace this seal. We can also should clean it up. Let's see. Make sure it's clean. It's not going to be super perfect, but as long as you get rid of all the carbon buildup. Okay. All right, that's the old one. This is the new one. What you want to do is have a little bit of oil. This works. Okay. I just lube it up. Okay. That's it. Okay, leave that there. Okay, so now you have your balance assembly. Once you break it loose, you want to take this compressor blade out. Take these off so you can start assembling it. You grab the bigger ring here, make sure you lubricate it. You want to lubricate everything. Okay, so you slide it down. Let's see. You want to kind of pry it open. That one. Okay. Work our way down. Okay, just like that. All right. Next up, you grab one of these bearings. Lube it. Put it there. Make sure everything's properly lubed. And then you grab this piece. Press the next one. We can lube it up too. We'll lube everything at the end as well. Grab your other bearing. Just like that. So now, we're gonna hit it with some lube again. Make sure everything's lubricated before we put it in. All right, let's see. Now that we have this centerpiece cleaned up with the seal replaced, cleaned up the heat shield, we are going to install the shaft. Let's see. All right, so like that. Bam. There it is. Make sure you rotate it. Okay. Just make sure it spins freely. Now we can move up to the compressor side. Okay, next up is the smaller ring. It goes in here. So we'll do the same thing. Lubricate. And I'm gonna open it up. There it is. Okay. You're installing the compressor housing. And it should just clip right in, like so. Make sure it'll stick out a little bit, so fine like that. So that goes in there. And then you can grab this piece. And this goes in the shaft, the spacer. It should sit flush, just like that. Cool. So now we are ready. Well, now you get your thrust bearing, your 360 thrust bearing. So I believe it could only go in one way. So this is the top of the turbo, bottom, and you want it facing, the grooves facing out like this. Just like that. Because I mean, I don't think it'll go in this way. I think it goes in like this, but no, it doesn't. It goes like that too, but make sure you have it like this. Actually, before installing the compressor back plate, we need to install the assembly. That way we can have access to torque these bolts. Because if we put that on first, we won't have room to fit a socket. So, this goes in like that. Then you want to add your, I got new hardware. Make sure you add some anti-seize and torque to spec. Okay, so according to the books, these are torqued to 30 foot-pounds. I like to do increments. So we're doing 10. Foot-pounds to begin with. And then we'll work our way up 20 until we hit 30. So that's 10. Okay, 10. Moving up to 20. Or 30 foot-pounds. Oops. All right, that's it. Okay, now that you have these 4 bolts torqued, you have the seal in, your spacer in flush, the correct orientation on the thrust bearing. I'm gonna slide it in now. Okay, right there. Now we can. All right, now we want to torque these 4 bolts to 12 foot-pounds. There it is. Shouldn't be much. All right. Okay, so now that we have these torqued, we want to install, look at that beauty, our compressor wheel. So KC doesn't require you to torque them. All you have to do is line them up to that mark that you see there. So what you want to do, see how they're slightly off? So you want to line it up. So what you gotta do is just line it up. And it doesn't take much. Right there. That's it. Okay. So now you grab your compressor housing seal. You can lubricate it, light coat. Find the one you need for your turbo, because the kit comes with 3. This one is way too big. Let me double check. Oh yeah. And this one, oh yeah, way too big. Okay, so now that everything is clean, you want to install last 4 bolts torqued down to 12 foot-pounds on the compressor housing. Okay, make sure you get your just do straight 12. It's not a lot of torque, so that. Oops. Okay, so now what we want to do, once we have that down, we're going to install the pedestal. So make sure your surfaces are clean. And get your new O-rings. Make sure they're lubricated. I already have them here pre-lubed. We'll lube them again. This one's already lubed. 1, 2. You got your pedestal here. Okay, so this is the back. So this is the back of the turbo, like this. So what you want to do, make sure that you don't pinch the O-rings. You want to come down as straight and evenly as you can. Okay, so once you have them started, okay, tighten them down by hand. Okay, we want to torque these down to 18 foot-pounds. Yeah, 18 foot-pounds. So we'll do increments of 6, just to be safe. What I like to do, you can tell by the blue marks, I like to use torque seal so I can tell if my bolts get loose or not. Don't mind that, that one looks ugly. Okay. And now, I let that dry. And we check if everything else is good. We'll spin our shaft, and we shouldn't have any rubbing. So we did a good job. Okay. And a lot of people forget this. Now, I forgot the first time clearly. So I read that these are common. They're known to leak oil. This is where the machine did all the holes for the casing. So make sure you plug that up. You could either weld it. Yeah, that'd be the best bet, just to weld it shut.